Tim. Tim, how are you? It's been a great week. We have a huge announcement. AEW games. We're getting a wrestling game from AEW. Lots to unpack on that short little video that they put out, dude. We got a lot to talk about.
Nah, I don't see a story here that we need to really cover. Yeah, we can just skip this one. There's nothing here to unpack.
All right. Note to self: find new co-host. Wonder what Mark's up to. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's time for As the Buckle Turns, your number one source for pro wrestling information here on ZOP Gaming. I'm Adam.
I'm Mark.
No, you're not. You're Tim?
You said you needed a new co-host named Mark, so I thought you were just doing the WWE thing and changing my name.
No, I would never change it that much. I would, maybe like get rid of the Tim, or you can just call you Green. That just comes, that doesn't roll off the tongue. No, you know what? We're going to change what your day job is. You are now the wizard, known as Tim?
Well, I'm not doing anything else, so it'd be nice to have a job for a change.
Yeah.
Since you don't pay me some of that good old AEW money.
What are you talking about? You receive your fair share. You receive your fair share every week.
No, I don't. And I'm still waiting for my deposit from the monster money.
Right. Once again, you receive your fair share of that as well.
No, I do not. I saw that new car out there in the driveway.
It's actually not mine. That's a friend's car?
Sure. Why does it say The Daily on it?
Because they're also a fan of mine. And oh God, please don't do that. Oh, right. Lean away from the mic. Get away from the mic. Stop eating potato chips. God, worst thing ever. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing out there? We love you as always, all of our listeners. But we got results to go over. We got Full Gear and Power Struggle to go over. We are, of course, going to be talking about AEW games.
I told you there's nothing to unpack there.
There is a lot to go over. I mean, come on, dude. 2 mobile games? Come on. Mobile gaming is the way of the future. Real gamers will be mobile gamers.
So you're not a real gamer because you don't play mobile.
I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face while talking about mobile games are meant to waste my time. That's about it. Give me 10 minutes while I'm pooping. And that's the kind of game that, honestly, most mobile games should be about.
Or you're in the doctor's office. Or
yeah, you're waiting for something to happen. Yeah, that's... Anyway, I mean, they do have 2 that I'll look at them. I'll check them out.
So we're on this topic already. Let's
get right into the AEW games. Okay, first of all, Yukes.
Yes. Which again, like I told Adam beforehand when we talked about this earlier.
We called it, by the way.
Duh.
Yeah.
Though they made a point in the video when they revealed it that Yukes was involved. They made a noise, so just in case for some reason you looked away, it drew you back to the screen so you knew Yukes was involved.
You know what it felt like? It felt like the, when you boot up a game and it does that first couple of, here's the, developer, here's the name of the game. Yep. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
Only we didn't get the splash screen of what the AEW game is going to be named.
Yes, because they're probably still working on that.
I mean, just name it AEW. That's all you need to do. All Elite Wrestling. Your first game, just have it be All Elite Wrestling. The game. The movie.
The movie.
This is going to be like,
So what would a AEW
wrestling game movie be?
No, AEW All Elite Wrestling the movie look like?
No. It has to be the game, the movie.
No.
Based upon the movie game.
Jeez.
The AEW the movie.
Okay, let's we're getting off track here. Well, so yes, Yukes is there. We already knew this. They were already working on a new game.
This is just the actual confirmation of what every rumor has been.
Yes. As soon as they were talking about a video game, we're like, Yukes.
Yep. As soon as Yukes was saying that they were working on a wrestling game, we were like, AEW.
And this is when they were still working on WWE games. We were like, okay.
Yeah, they were just before they announced that they were off, that their contract was not being renewed. They were already saying they were working on a new IP.
See, I've never heard that their contract wasn't being renewed. I heard everything
Well,
I've
it
heard.
came up.
No, well, everything I heard was basically it was on Yukes.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yukes said like
their contract was coming up, and it was just they chose not to pursue renewing it with WWE and 2K.
Yeah, like we're not doing it because you don't want what you want us to do is just.
Well, I mean, it kind of felt that ever since 2K came in, that they were limiting Yukes over and over and over again.
Yep.
And just either one way or another. And Yukes was like, finally, like, you know what, 2K, screw you. You're a publisher. We're out.
So
have fun dealing with this franchise.
So one of the things that we actually looked up is some of the games, and we're like, how long did it take for the SmackDown games, SmackDown versus Raw games to get bad? And we pinpointed right around 2009.
Oh yeah, when
2009 was still 2009 was
yeah.
a good game, but overall there were some things in that were issues. It was 2010 that was bad, started to get bad. 11 and 12, 13.
Yep.
Yep, and that were but then
Yeah,
it just
2K. That was
THQ was just done.
Yep.
They were they were trying to stay afloat, and they weren't listening to anything the fans wanted.
And then 2K came swooping in,
And
it's been up and down.
Their first game that they published in 2014 was actually a THQ game because they had developed the game and they had most of the game done. They kind of just finished it.
Right.
Technically, Yukes was still working on it, and they just finished it, and 2K published it. They may had some little feedback on things, but they didn't really do much. 2015 or 2K15 is when it was their game.
Yep.
And then let's see. So then we have, if you actually, I remember ratings. 2015 was a bad one.
Yes. 16 was okay.
Yep.
17 was considered good.
18 was up.
It was up, but it was once again, it kind of felt like it still fell into, because 17 had the massive clipping issues.
Yeah.
18 had weird glitches as well.
Yeah.
Which reduced, but overall the game was good. Like
Yep.
it was a solid game. 19, people are still playing this game.
Yeah, we're still playing it. It's also when they changed a lot of the graphics. I think they brought a new
Like
engine.
I kind of feel that 19 was the weird fluke year.
Yeah, it was. And then we got 20. Again, but if you look at all these games, they still didn't put in things that we were asking for. They took out Creative Finisher.
It's also the last year that Yukes was working on the series.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet they were like, you know what? We're going out with a bang. We're going to give a good, solid game.
But again,
Still missing some of the things that we want.
but that's not on Yukes. That was
No.
done in 2K.
Yep.
But again, like
No create a finisher.
they took that out. We were calling for massive improvements to Universal Mode.
Yep.
We always got something new added to Universal Mode, but nowhere to what we wanted.
No, I also kind of feel that you should be able to create practically any match you want.
Yeah.
If I want an 8-man elimination match that's not over the top rope, it's all pin submission, and it is falls count anywhere, I should be allowed to make that match.
You should be able to have a Royal Rumble in any arena.
Yes. I should be able to have a Hell in a Cell match, Elimination Chamber match in any arena, as long as the arena is big enough.
Yes. But also the one thing we've been asking for years, more than 3 feuds.
Yeah.
You could, at this point in 2K19, you could have 6 championships, but you can only have 3 feuds per show.
It should be 6.
It should be more than that.
Well, it should be more than that, but at least the number of championships.
Yeah, that you have. Also, I mean, I know one of the things that they did with 2K20 that was something that I still don't have clarification because I haven't touched it and I won't touch it. But you could modification. You could make changes to slots to have matches, add more matches or something like that, which is cool.
Okay.
That's how it should have been from the beginning, honestly.
Yes.
You have 20, you have like 14 slots on your TV show. I should be able to determine what any one of those are.
Yeah.
Also, I should never have my main event slot be predetermined to what it has to be because of a stupid storyline, or cut down on that.
Yeah. I mean, I use 19 to modify everything, so
Yeah. So it's one of those things like, but
I do enjoy some of the matches that it will like randomly generate in your universal mode, especially if you've got your own storylines and stuff going on, and you'll look at it and be like, huh, these two characters, I have them as a tag team, but now the game just wants to put them in a championship match for a title neither one of them have.
Yeah.
Game.
There's even rankings, but they don't even keep to the rankings.
No, it doesn't even matter.
So,
like, randomly, the champion will be defending against somebody that is like super low, and I'm like, I have everyone set up here, so even the number 47 guy is, power level 100.
Yeah.
Anyone can take a championship. It's just the way that we play them.
So, one thing, basically, 2K19 was set up for great things.
Yes.
Just execute poorly as for because of past years. If you just tweak things, add some things that they were put in 2K20 earlier, and actually just went to town because that's what the fans wanted. Instead of these stupid towers that no one wanted.
Oh my god.
I
mean, it's kind of a cool thing as your offline thing, but a lot of people, a lot of content creators specifically play your universal mode.
Because you're
why are we bitching so much about WWE?
Because
we should be talking about AEW.
I was about to get us back to it, but just one more thing was because your story mode is not replayable.
No, it's not.
And also because
I kind of feel it should be.
Well, yeah, it should be. But also, it's just because that's what we want. We like the idea of having our own shows.
Yeah.
Be able to book Raw, SmackDown, and NXT how we want to.
Exactly.
Or create our own complete companies and do what we want.
Yes.
And universe mode should be literally the GM mode from any sports game. Where you can play all the matches that you put on your card if you want to. You can determine the winners and losers. Simulate them. You should be able to do all that. Budget things. All contracts. It should be all that stuff.
Yep.
Send people back to NXT.
Yeah.
Be able to tell people, well, we're going to be calling this guy up in 6 months. You got to get him red hot down in NXT. Be able to tell NXT, start pushing this guy.
Yeah.
Who maybe they wouldn't plan the guy running NXT by AI because you're not playing NXT. Now has to start getting that guy hot. And if they fail to by the time that you want to call him up, you can put penalties on your developmental.
Exactly.
All these little things.
That would be actually a really cool mode.
Yeah. So, but getting back to AEW's game,
yes,
it's just Yukes was getting sick and tired of just doing these stupid things because it wasn't challenging for them. They wanted to grow. They want to make a great wrestling game. They stuck around making wrestling games because they enjoy making wrestling games.
Yeah.
So it's great to see them here. It'll be great to see what they can do, especially with the end where they announced the legendary Gedo, the director of WWE No Mercy. By most people, arguably the greatest WWE game ever.
Yeah.
For the N64. I never played it.
I know. It was so weird.
I don't know how I missed this one, honestly, because I was a huge fan of WrestleMania 2000. And this was put out a year later. And I just don't know how I missed it, because I think... Can you look up the when WWE SmackDown came out?
Oh, for crying out loud. Really? Really?
Yeah.
You need me to do that for you?
Yes. Yes, I do. Since you have Wikipedia up right there. There you go.
SmackDown. Let's say March of 2000.
March of 2000.
It was 2000.
Yeah, so that's why. That's why I never played No Mercy. I was so invested in the SmackDown game.
Yeah, No Mercy was the year before.
No, SmackDown, that came out in 2000, No Mercy.
Oh, yeah, it did, totally.
The same time that WrestleMania 2000 came out in 99. So I was playing 2000. I loved 2000. But when SmackDown came out for the PlayStation, which I had a PlayStation, I played it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was. It was not a full-on 3D game.
Nope.
A lot of the characters were like the crowd was pixely as fuck.
Yes, it was.
But it was. I just don't know what it was. But I loved that game. Where I never actually played No Mercy. I actually had arguments with people over WrestleMania 2000 or SmackDown, and I was like, no, SmackDown's the way to go. It's the future. And they said, no. WrestleMania 2000 is far better. I'm just like,
the N64 game is better.
And as much as I still liked it, SmackDown, what happened? That became the franchise for all of WWE games.
Yeah. Yeah. It won.
It won. And so I don't have an experience. I do know one thing. I've actually seen it images. I did not like about No Mercy was the championship belts were just painted on, and it looked terrible.
It did.
And that's one of my biggest things about things with championships looking good, and just like stupid. But if we can get like everything I've heard you can do in No Mercy, and we get something like that, but elevated to a 2022, 21,
yeah,
2020, 30, 2020, 30.
2020, 30.
Yes.
Wow, so 20,000 in 10 years from now?
Exactly. That's how long it's going to take.
I don't know what kind of video games we'll be playing then.
That's how long it's going to take.
Reality will be the game.
See, that's how long it's going to take for the AEW game to launch on current and our next generation systems.
Next gen.
Not their next gen systems.
They're gonna have to get old systems in order to play them. Play a game that they're like
for a company that went out of business
20,000 years ago.
15,000 years ago. But yeah, no, it'll be how we don't have a time frame. We just know it's beginning.
Yep.
And it is in process, which we already kind of knew. There was enough hints by Kenny, by Cody. Yeah. I didn't think Tony kind of dropped a few little nuggets.
TK?
Yeah, TK.
TK.
TK is a great guy. Mr. Tony Khan is a great guy, that TK.
The entire skit is awesome, too. I love it.
But like, they dropped niggas, but they would always stop them saying, we can't talk about it anymore for whatever reasons. Probably because NDAs. They don't want to get people's hopes up.
Super early.
That's coming out soon. They made it very clear in this thing. It's in development.
Yeah.
In development usually means you got about 2 to 3 years.
Not necessarily. Not in video games. Especially with them basically running a 24-hour schedule.
Yeah, if they're working in Japan and the US, yes.
They can basically run a 24-hour schedule. That was awesome. Great job.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyway.
But it all depends on how far along they are. Also, taking into consideration what feedback they may get from us fans, because I guarantee one of the things they're going to do, because one of the big things they let you know, you got to follow AEW Games and Twitter.
Yep.
On Twitter, because when they know something, it's going to be on that channel.
They're going to be looking at the comments and
They're
stuff.
going to be looking at the comments. They're going to be looking for feedback, especially in the early phases.
I seriously hope that they don't pay attention to trolls.
No, they won't. They're gonna know enough to be able to tell different criticism, actual criticism on the game from fans versus trolls just being WWE fans saying it looks stupid.
It looks terrible.
2K20 was better than this game will be.
Really? WWE Battlegrounds is the greatest game ever. It looks way better than this game. By the way, I do have to say, Chris Jericho kind of looks like he belongs in Battlegrounds.
We'll get there in a second.
That rendering. Ooh.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
But so it's gonna be a while.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna make
2022.
That's my earliest prediction.
Yeah.
My earliest prediction, I'll put it. I think I'm more comfortable at 2023.
No, 2022.
But 2022, I would not be surprised.
Like I've got a feeling that after this, E3 2021 will get another trailer. And then November of 2021, about 6 months later, we'll get another actual, like, the first real, like, gameplay trailer. And then Fyter Fest of 2022 will be the first full demo, if you will.
But see, here's the thing, though. we don't know when they're going to launch it.
I know.
WWE's always launched their games in the fall, mostly for Christmas.
No, it makes the most sense. You try to launch bigger titles.
But if you actually look at other sports games, like they launch around the time that sport starts.
Kind of. Yeah, they kind of do. Yeah, because I mean, yeah.
So for me, I would say
shit. Yeah, that's
send
true.
it around your AEW. If it's gonna launch in 2022, you launch it on the anniversary of Dynamite.
Perfect time in the fall. People are starting to stay inside.
It's going to stay inside. You're getting close to Christmas.
Yep.
And it's just
you'll have a double spike because it'll go, release, come back down through probably November. Not really seeing too much of a bubble, but still probably selling pretty well. And then a second spike in December. It may not be as big as the first spike.
Well, it all depends on how good the game is.
Right.
And if the game is awesome, that
means that the second spike will be even bigger because I'll probably I'll be part of the first spike.
So will I. I guarantee.
It's this game. I'll be part of the first spike.
I'll be part of the first spike. The second pre-orders are available.
Yep, I'll be like, I'll pre-order that.
Even if I have to sell a kidney to be able to do it.
Dude.
Oh, is that too far?
That is a bit too far.
How about a testicle?
It's probably, that's what, $300?
It's about the equivalent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's worth it. A kidney, too much, man.
Yeah, that's what I
too
thought.
much.
Okay. I apologize to anyone who was offended by me willing to sell a kidney for a video game. A testicle
is perfectly fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially for our audience.
Exactly.
They probably giggled a little bit right there.
Exactly.
Just like you.
That's why I went with it.
Anyway,
so let's actually look at what was revealed. So we got non-representation of what the final game will look like.
No, but you have probably some ideas.
Yes.
I mean, Chris Jericho's character model is puffy.
So let's look at me and Adam actually really agreed on this. As soon as I got to his house to record today, and we started talking about it.
Yes.
We immediately instantly agreed that we did not like the art direction.
Nope.
But then we actually got talking a little bit. I'm like, I didn't think so too. But then when Sheeta came on, I was like, oh, she doesn't actually look that bad. And then I noticed the whole of, let's set the stage first. Let's actually explain what happens first. So you get into the action. It's a CGI animation of Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho fighting. Both go for their basic finishers. I believe Kenny goes for a V trigger. And the One Wing Angels, and then Jericho tries to go for the Judas effect. They both dodge him.
Everyone ducks under and dodges stuff.
And then Kenny has been told to look behind him, and he gets attacked by Sheeta, who hits the Falcon Arrow, then hits her last shot knee, or whatever she calls it.
Yep.
And that's the game. That's all we see. Before we get some news about Yukes, and then we get to see the final game models for the Melted driver.
Yes.
It looks like the kind of similar graphics you would see for in your moveset for WWE there, but it actually looks, the way it appears on screen to me, it actually looks like what they're doing in the computer when they're assembling that stuff. Not actually, that's the moveset element.
Right.
But that's what the actual graphics look like. That's all you really get. And so we get the models. We already mentioned Jericho, but once it was Sheeta and Kenny fighting, I realized I actually didn't mind Kenny so much.
Yeah.
I really like Sheeta's look.
Yeah, hers was good.
And then when I watched it once before again, I was like, it's Jericho. Jericho looks terrible.
He does.
I'm not.
He looks boxy. I'm looking at it right this second.
Yeah.
He looks incredibly boxy.
And one of the things the first thing I saw was it looks like Battleground, but just not as cartoony. But,
yeah.
I know they kind of want to go for a little more arcade type, because that's what kind of No Mercy was.
It's obviously clearly too though a cutscene.
Yeah, I know they want to go more like No Mercy. It was a little bit more of a kind of arcade, but it's still simulation based. But it doesn't mean that your graphics have to go that way.
Right.
I prefer more when it comes to this stuff. I want more realistic graphics. I don't care. That's what I want. But if you get more in line with everyone in line, like how Sheeta looked, because Sheeta looked really, really good. But again, make it a little more realistic, a little bit more realism in the art, and I'd be fine with it. But it was Jericho that I had the issue with overall.
Yeah.
Hands down, it's like, oh my god, he looks terrible.
It looks terrible.
It looks cartoony, and it rubs off on you. Once you see Jericho, you see Kenny like, oh, Kenny,
Kenny got the same treatment, and then Sheeta and Kenny in the ring. You're like, okay, this thing, all right.
It's not too. And then you just start because you really like Sheeta, and then you like, okay,
Kenny's not that bad.
Yeah. Again, this is not representing what the final game is going to look like. This is early stuff.
Now, I'm not saying. I mean, I would love for them to move into a very sim.
Yes.
Relationship eventually. I honestly prefer more of a sim-based game for wrestling. But I have no problem as long as I'm able to visually tell a good story with the matches, and it's not okay. One of the problems that I had with the early SmackDown games was that the animation, and No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 also had this issue for me, is that the animations were very stilted.
Yeah, at times they could be.
And even into 2K19, every once in a while you're just like, okay, I mean, I kind of feel that you would have slightly mixed it up at some point. Everyone throws the exact same full body punch over and over. I'm like, ugh. Now, I do have to say, at least 2K19, you can change up your... There are definitely a ton of different moves for that. Oh, AEW Games. I'm going to have to tweet this soon. Back over to them. Really expand your wrestling moves. Yeah. Seriously, steal some moves from your competition.
Oh, they will. Because WWE does the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have the wrist lock lariat. There is, I forget what the official name of the One Wing Angel is, but it's a driver.
Yeah.
And it's in WWE games. So why not put in everything else?
I'm trying to remember what it's called off the top of my head. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's in there. They just changed the name.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have, what's his name? Okada Ibushi's, Bombay.
Yep.
Now in 2K20.
Yeah.
They obviously call it something else, but it's in there. Definitely steal from different moves, call them different things.
Oh yeah,
all of that. But
I mean, there are technical. The way that they can get away with it is that there is a technical name for the move, and what they do is they use that name. They're like, we're not calling it the Meltzer driver. No. It's a
springboard
tombstone. I'm like, all right, we'll call it that then.
It's not that's what it's called, but it's basically they used the correct name or a different name if it doesn't have one, because like the Young Bucks created the Meltzer driver.
Right.
There was no other name for it, so you can give it a different name. So one of the things that'll be interesting to see, because one of the reasons why so many people like No Mercy was because of how in depth your move set could be.
Exactly.
With such a simple combination.
Yeah.
Like what how you did it, and I would say we have one of the most in depth move sets in 2K, but it's not the most. It's a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
I constantly find myself doing a lot of the same old moves over and over again. Partly because I've signed those moves to multiple slots on my character because I like those moves.
Right.
For that character. But again, there were games where I was like, I'm just starting. The last time a few times I've played, I just started doing other moves. Just
for the heck of it.
Because I finally remembered if I do this, it does something different. You know the whole pick me up and carry system they added?
Yeah.
You could like turn off.
That I forget how to work and I hit it every once in a while randomly?
Yeah. I have to look it up every so often if I wanted to do that. Because I want to powerbomb someone onto a vacant steel steps outside. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, I shouldn't have to be thinking about that several years after the game has come out. You've included
everything
that.
else is super. Like, okay, I gotta say, one of the cool things about the N64 controller, which really allowed it to have so many, for No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 to have so many moves in your moveset.
Yep.
Was the fact that you could use all of the yellow buttons.
Yep.
And the different directions. So up, and each one of those yellow buttons was one move. Left and all of that. So it was just over. Like, I was like, wow, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get 16 moves, and then I've got a punch button too.
And you also had the Z trigger.
Yeah, which that was more of your
That was more used for in other games. But
your finisher, I believe it
no,
was.
the finisher. That was your little dial analog stick. Once you had a full bar, you just flick that up or something.
Oh yeah,
up, and it would.
It was
It would grab on if it could. If it was like a slam, you'd grab on. Actually, you had to hook up and you'd hit that.
Yeah.
If it was and they would do
the finisher.
The finisher, and if you were up on I remember playing Eddie Guerrero in WCW versus the World, and like him playing him, and he'd go up on the turnbuckles, and you'd flick up, and he'd do his frog splash. And it's just like, and you hit the combination for a pin.
Yeah. Now at the same time, the current WWE 2K, the 2K model for stuff, I don't mind the button layout, but it also feels that like there is.
To be clear, he's talking about 2K19.
2K19.
Not 2K20 that they fucked up the moveset.
Oh, they did?
Everything. Yeah, they changed it again.
Oh, God.
And that was one of the complaints. Outside of every other thing, you know how much you have to fuck up your controls in that kind of game that it still gets known that people don't like the controls? You really got to fuck up how you do your controls,
like,
and when you fucked up everything else up.
Like, for me, it was just like, all right, cool. It kind of feels that the entire right joystick left completely out. There's no reason for it.
It's your movement. That's how you move.
No.
Oh, if you're the right.
No, that right stick really has no purpose.
Yeah, it's for
other than mini games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we do know in the next W2K 2022, I think is what it's going to be called. We don't know whether they're officially going to call it 2021 when it gets released.
Yeah.
Later next year, or they're just going to go to 2022. I just call it 2022.
Yeah.
That the new director says we're getting rid of the mini games.
Thank you.
I don't know how you do a good submission system without them, because there have been ones where, like, I remember some of the submission systems in SmackDown versus Raw, SmackDown games, where the system was you just had to put enough submissions on them long enough when their body was, and then eventually they would give up. And sometimes you could have them red, and still 10 minutes later they're still not tapping out.
I do remember that. We my buddy and I that played the SmackDown games, we would beat the crap out of people and put them into any submission, and they would not tap, and they would not tap. Yep. No tap. Finally, you just graze them with like the worst arm bar ever.
Yep.
And that arm completely clear. There has been no damage to it. Tap out immediately. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
I worked an ankle lock on you for nearly 20 minutes.
I broke your fucking ankle 5 times.
Yeah. I used the sledgehammer on your legs. Your legs are purple right now, but you tapped out with your arm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It didn't always make sense, but I do like the fact that you have to work over a limb.
Yes.
Until, it's at least red.
Yeah.
Before a submission will actually start to do anything. This whole mini game, that means that a submission could land at any point and you'll tap out to it.
If you do it right, but there are mechanics in there where if you do a submission early on, it's harder. Like if you're doing the spinny thing.
Oh yeah.
It's you kind of catch it.
Your bar is smaller.
Yeah. If you're doing the button mash, which is what I do.
Yeah.
Because I prefer the button. I no matter how hard I try, I was terrible at that circle.
I'm
thing.
a circle guy.
Right? Like in the button smash, basically it just tells you one of the buttons you have to push. You push it for a while, then it changes. If you don't,
You got to switch over.
It goes. You got to switch over. The combination's not that hard to figure out. But like I prefer that. But it would even if you're tagging a full body part that was fully healed, like no matter how you could be tapping that thing like there's no tomorrow. And it doesn't do it. You quickly see the bar just going.
It just swings over to the opponent. You're like, thanks, game.
It's just to the opponent because the limb is not injured at all. So I like it. You're still getting some damage on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also depends on where in the game you are.
Right.
Because as it does. I find at least for the button mashing for PlayStation, if you have your health bar. Is like in the second if the person you're facing has like all 3 bars.
Yeah.
If you get like halfway down, then even if you target a spot that's not hurt at all, it'll go over that way, but it won't go straight to it. You can kind of because they're tired.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It still go almost immediately to that part, but you can still keep the submission a little bit longer.
I'm complaining about when it's the flip side of it.
No, I know.
When you're barely injured, they slap one on, and you're like, "All right, I'm gonna play this," and I've tapped out.
The biggest problem with that is when it's on a submission finisher.
Yeah.
I've had people put me in a guillotine choke. My head is not even injured, and I'm furiously tapping that thing, and it does nothing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Now, when I'm doing the one putting it, I'm like, that's fine with me because it's my favorite.
Yeah, whatever.
But when you're facing off one of your creative stars who has that and does it, he's like, fuck you. I'm playing this match over again because they're supposed to lose.
Exactly.
And that's not a story I'm telling to myself. But it will be interesting to see overall how these games develop.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on with the story.
Yeah.
What's up with the creative character? Will we have a GM/universal mode?
I think we will.
I would love it. Because
it's going to be a GM mode. It's not going to be a universal mode.
No, but
we're going to get if we don't,
we get EVP mode.
I'd be okay if they call it an EVP mode.
Except for the fact that we actually aren't allowed to oversee any of the wrestling or booking decisions. We're in charge of T-shirts.
Yes.
It's a T-shirt company
that has a video game.
that you play a video game about making T-shirts.
Yes.
God, it's my job. I load in and I'm like, well, time to go back to work and load shirt, take shirt off from press.
Oh, we're out of ink.
Get a refill.
Gotta go get some refill. It's like,
all right, my boss is now yelling about why the press is not running right now, and I'm explaining to him that running out of ink would cause that to happen. My boss has said that somebody will get the ink to me, but get back to work. And I'm still trying to figure out why. Because I don't have any ink, and I can't continue printing shirts without ink.
And there's no one coming over to give me ink.
And that's the bell to go to lunch. Oh, thank you. Set game down, go outside for a cigarette, and be like, man, it feels like I just went to work for the day.
But I didn't actually get paid to do it.
Now I don't get paid for this. This game sucks. Going back into play some more. Streaming it live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing out there? Anyway.
And you don't even get to design the t-shirt. You just have to print the
t-shirt. Yeah, it's just printing the t-shirts.
And they're terrible designs, too. So let's move on to the next part. We do got 2 mobile games.
Yes.
We'll cover the one that least interests me, is the casino.
Oh, I was going to say the GM game.
Yes, because I have no interest in that. I don't play any GM games whatsoever.
Ever.
I don't do any videos where I fantasy book a certain company.
Not at all.
That's similar to...
Oh, can you imagine doing that on... just stream it directly from your phone?
That's something I thought about once I saw it yesterday. But I had to play the game before I decided to do that.
Of course.
But so yes, they're gonna have a gambling game apparently.
I am interested in this kind of. Also, I loved the fact that the video. If you notice, you have to wear a jacket to get in,
Yeah.
unless you're John Silver.
Yes.
Honestly, I think he wore a jacket in and has made it disappear since.
And by the way, poor Anna Jay, who decided to be nice for a change and give him a hug, only to be given a hand to the face.
Oh, he straight stiff-armed her.
Yep.
Stiff-armed her because 10 gives the better hug.
Well, because Anna Jay.
And remember, Alex Reynolds is the beanie guy. Stop at 5. Stop it.
And that's because Anna Jay is just so cruel.
Yeah.
She's a bully.
Okay, so
Well, at least it's two.
I know that we're still kind of talking about the AEW games, but, well, remind me to bring something up. You know what? No, I'm going to bring it up now. BTE this week.
Wait.
What?
We're doing sidetracks?
We're doing
We
sidetracks.
never do sidetrack. That is our proudest moment. Like, we've never gone down rabbit holes and completely forgot what we're talking about and moved on to something else.
Not at all.
Ever.
Not at all. Never. We'll get back to our main subject very soon. It'll be super easy. This is barely an inconvenience.
Alrighty then.
All right. It's tight. BTE this week. Adam Page, at the end of the episode, attempts to go to the Young Bucks, who are celebrating with SCU and Kenny and Brandon. And like the place is set up as if it's a champagne party.
Yeah.
Only they're not drinking champagne.
They're not drinking a little bit of the bubbly?
No.
How dare they not drink
It's
a little bit of the bubbly?
sparkling grape juice or cider or whatever. So Paige ends up just kind of walking away. He just decides not to go in. He walks away, and then to cheer up John Silver after his loss, they start chanting "fuck Hangman," and then
Hangman walks in
and joins them.
He takes no. He goes. He pours himself a drink.
Oh yeah, that's when all of them are like,
and
he's like, you know what?
Fuck
Hangman. And then like gets a little crazy about it, and finally leaves. And Uno's like, hold on, I'll be right back. I have a feeling they're going to court him for a little bit because he is starting to seriously just fall apart as a human being.
Well, one thing that I think that they do need to do for the Dark Order before we get back to AEW games, because we never go down rabbit holes. We're making a one-time exception.
One-time exception. That's why we're reminding you that AEW games is the main topic here.
Yes.
But go on about what you think they should do with the Dark Order.
I think they need to start getting, because the whole joke is they can't recruit anyone of value.
Exactly.
I
really think that
think they need to start being able to recruit at least one or two of value.
Yeah.
For a very short time.
Colt Cabana, I thought, was like the one.
Well, and
he's
not very confirmed that he's actually Dark Order.
No.
Though he keeps hanging out with them and coming out with them
here and there, but that's about it.
So it will be interesting to see if they do, because I think that would be a good little story for him. Because what a great way to tell a story of he goes so far down the rabbit hole that he
joins the Dark Order.
He joins what he was calling a cult for a while, only to then come out of the cult to then beat Kenny for the World Championship at All Out.
To then mend the fences with the Young Bucks, and after beating Kenny, picks Kenny up and gives him a great big hug.
And then hits him with another buckshot lariat and to send him out and go like, fuck you all. I don't need anyone. I can do this on my own.
Immediately quits the company.
No, he drops the AEW World Championship and says, this is not the real World Championship. And then he goes over to the FTW Championship. This is the real World Championship.
No, he comes, he's like, no, give me, he's like, I want the real World Championship. Throws that down. The big WCW gold belt comes out and he's like, no, throws that one down. I said the real World Championship.
Nick Ellis comes down with the NWA. He's like, this piece of shit.
No, I said the real one. Throws that one down. Nick's is like, that's my belt.
Like, that is the real World's Championship.
And then the Universal Championship comes out, and he's like, "That's what I'm talking about." They're like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "I am really drunk. Which one is that?" I think it's the TNT belt, right? And they're like, "No, it's the Universal." He's like, "Oh, frick, no."
Oh, no, not that one.
Picks up the original AEW belt that he had at the beginning. This is the real one. They're like,
that's the one you start.
Shut up!
No.
I'm drunk already. You're like, how did you get a beer? Nobody. How did you even open it? He's like, magic.
He's like, I'm that good.
You're like, huh?
Okay, so what was our topic again?
AEW games.
You missed the joke.
What joke?
The joke was about we keep
Whoosh.
forgetting. The joke was that we forget about we go on rabbit trails and we forget what we're talking about and move on.
So the mid card of Doom.
Yes. No. But the outside the casino game, the next one is the Elite GM General Manager mode.
Yeah.
Which we actually got to see some of the in-game. You actually book your own shows, your roster, and see how they turn out.
Yeah.
That's the one feature about they mentioned about the game that I don't care about. Seeing the matches play out. I'm assuming there might be a way to play those matches as well.
Maybe.
Don't care. Hopefully there'll be a way to turn that part off because I'm not gonna. If I can't turn that off, I'm not gonna play it because I don't care.
You're like,
when I'm playing in general manager mode like that,
you are all about the money.
Yes.
And the contracts.
I want to build
and the boring
my
stuff.
I want to build my stuff and put that out there. I do want an in-depth version of being able to book each match how I want the book match to end. Like I want to end with.
You're not getting that in a mobile game.
I know, but I'm just saying that's what I look for in a.
You're like,
GM
I want this spot, and then we go to this spot.
See,
and this is where the finish is going to be.
If I ever found a simulation game like that, where you can literally not only book your show, but then when you go
book
to book
the
it,
match.
you can set out like you could literally plan the entire match out move for move. I would probably do that one time.
You're like, oh, that is really boring.
Oh no, because it'd just be like having to think of
move to move.
But not just that, but how your match would be rated was on that system.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, certain matches I would go in, I'll set the finish.
Maybe a high spot.
I want this big. I have this spot I want somewhere in there. Not tell it where. Just I want this spot to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Or this spot's part of the finish.
I need a chair shot.
Yeah. That's probably what I'd mostly use it for. I probably would maybe get myself to one point, do one whole show where I would
book everything. You're like, so ladies and gentlemen, this was the worst show I ever put together. Every match bored me
like,
because I knew everything about it already. There was nothing to discover.
Well, no, it's like I get there. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the matchup. I booked out every single matchup, every single move, how long they rested, everything. This card has 3 matches because I got really bored doing that.
I'm really sorry. I've spent 3 weeks. I haven't put out a single thing in 3 weeks because this is the only thing I've been working on. Do you know how long it's 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
That includes entrance and promo packages.
Yeah. So, but I will give this game a try.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like. And it's interesting that I knew Aubrey Hedford, one of the AEW refs.
Aubrey Edwards.
Edwards.
You said like Hebner.
Aubrey Hebner.
She's part of the Hebners. Okay.
She's a 3rd generation Hebner.
Britt Baker, the granddaughter of Doctor Who star Tom Baker. We're just making up facts at this point.
Yes. Because that's what you do in 2020, apparently.
Kenny Omega, the cousin of Omega Red, this week has...
That would be great if they brought in... They had Kenny dress up as Omega Red.
Oh my god.
From the X-Men.
Kenny Omega Red.
But I will give it. But Audrey, she actually worked in mobile gaming beforehand, so she's very much involved in the design of this stuff, which is really cool. And by the way, if you've never seen Aubrey Edwards outside of her ref gear, just go look at a clip for one of their podcasts with Tony Schiavone.
It threw you off.
I didn't realize who that was until it came up at one of them and said who the people were.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Aubrey? Like,
one person, even though he shows up in BTE all the time, the Spanish announcer, I forget his name, but why do I forget his name right now? Because I don't see, like, he's part of so much stuff, but I keep going, crap, he's the Spanish announcer. Like, over and over again, I'm like, oh, face palm, because every time I'm like, who is that guy? Yeah, never mind. Oh, like the podcast. I'll just be like, and who's this guy? Where did he come from? Oh, yeah, Spanish announcer, dumbass.
So yeah, but just go look at it. She just looks completely different. So yeah, when she came up, I was just like, "Whoa, you're not dressed correct." King's like, You're not dressed correctly."
Pulls the uniform off, stretches down the turtleneck sleeves, and pulls the turtleneck up.
Now, the one thing we don't need to spend too much time on, but there was one groundbreaking thing that will change fashion forever.
It changed the world. Some would say.
The idea of having a shirt that has 2 sleeves and a hole for your head.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
We are groundbreaking here.
Mind blown. The t-shirt looks okay though.
I'd buy it.
But the idea that the idea that the 2 sleeves and a hole for the head,
woo,
that's gonna change everything.
So I gotta say that is totally like a good company brand t-shirt to start things off, because you're like, nope, here's the brand logo. Yeah. And we're gonna have this for a while.
Well, mostly it's just the brand logo for the games channel.
Yeah.
And all that. So it works. And as we get more stuff, you can do more.
I wonder what the YouTube channel is going to become. Like, will we get Brandon Cutler bringing over the D&D series?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's not actually D&D, but the RPG series that they've been doing, which I enjoy watching basically a let's play of D&D, because I'm like, nerds are all over the place. Yeah. All we need is some dice and imagination, and we will all get together and go, who's running this campaign? Because I got my game ready.
So one thing I would love to see them do is watch them once the game comes out, have competitions that they would put on there.
For the BTE belt.
Also, one thing that I'd like to see them do is see other wrestlers in their GM mode, how they would then, of course, you'd have like John Silver putting all the championships on myself, pushing John Silver to the AEW World Championship, TNT Championship. Heck, we'll throw the women's division belt on there too.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing I would love to see them do, if this partnership with NWA continues,
right?
Because I don't remember if you remember this, but in WCW NWO Revenge, they actually had a bunch of characters from like Japan or outside of these other companies.
Yeah.
I think a few of them might have been real, because WCW had those partnerships with.
Some of them were.
So I'd love to see them do, if they had this NWA partnership continue, is expansion, or one of the downloadable DLCs is you bring some of their the NWA there.
Yeah. As long as you can secure everyone to be able to bring stuff over.
Enough characters to bring them over. And also, one of the things you could do is also then you could bring their championships over.
Yes.
How poorly designed they are.
It's okay.
But still,
they're not as great as Impacts. Okay?
Impacts are better than the NWA's.
Except for the 11 pounds of gold.
No, that's a terrible looking belt.
It is so tiny. It is heavy, but it is so small.
It would be fun. It would be a great way to do that. Because it would give NWA some great exposure, and you could play some of these characters. Like you could play Magnus. I can't think of his real name.
Nick Aldis.
Who said he's actually said he wants to retire in NWA. He wants a piece of the company because he wants to help grow it. But you could bring him in, and you could actually have your Cody Aldis rematch 3.
I mean, honestly though, as long as there's create a wrestler, that's all you need.
Well,
Like,
true.
On their a facsimile of their entrance.
Yep.
And you could program this, programmers, to include like New Japan guys and Ring of Honor guys.
Oh, by the way, please make sure your entrances are not like from No Mercy in 2000, where they just walk to the ring no matter what the music is.
No matter even what their entrance actually is. Everyone's very stiffly walked to the ring.
Yep.
There was no cheering. Like, try to give us as close to who they are as a character.
Yeah. It was also Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as long as at some point I can have money raining down and Okada's entrance, I'll take it.
yeah. So we'll be interested to see what they do with that. But like I said, that'd be great if they do have some other partnerships like AAA, bringing some of those people.
Oh, also
over.
Another thing, if you have a faction that has more than 3 people, if you could have all of them come to the ring at the same time,
Yeah.
that would be wonderful.
And have them do. See, okay, AEW. I hope you're listening. I hope that you have the mics turned on this week in this office.
I really hope so. Thank you so much.
Because I swear to God, if you do not have a tag team where I can create a tag team, either a predetermined tag team entrance, or I can just make an entrance where when you do a tag team entrance, they literally are doing the motions you tell them to do. So if I want, I can customize the motions to these 2 wrestlers. So either they can come out, if they come out separately, they do the entrance I have assigned to that.
Yeah.
Or I can have a tag team where they both come out, but I can assign motions that they'll do.
Instead of a predetermined.
Yeah. So allow myself to be able to.
Because I was going to tell you that 2K19, you can like modify someone's entrance pretty heavily.
You can modify someone's entrance. You can't modify a tag team entrance. Those are pre-locked in tag.
Yes, you can.
How?
In the advanced mode, you can set it so that they're
I'm talking
to
about
a
tag
point.
Team.
Yeah, to a point. You have.
You cannot change the motions. For
no,
an
you
individual.
can't. Oh, yeah.
Because you have very limited entrances for tag team. WWE games have always had limited tag team entrances.
Why? I mean, it would almost seem like they don't give a shit about the tag team division. What? So we're gonna have amazing tag team action in this game. Then.
Yes. One of the things I would love to do in early, like especially SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. I'd always have my character Tim.
Tim.
With the other.
Was he a wizard?
No. With the other character I'd always make in the game, Emily, and when I pair them as a tag team, I'd always give them. It was Charlie Haas.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
who was his? She was the
Shelton
first.
Shelton Benjamin.
No, it was the. This was after they broke up.
Oh.
It was his eventually became his wife. She was one of the original women in TNA. She won one of the Tough Enoughs.
I have no idea, bro.
But
really sorry.
Well, the reason why I liked it was because I'd pair them together as her like manager, and they'd come out as a tag team entrance, and she would come out, and her little thing was he would come out and do this, and then she'd come up and turn around and wiggle her butt a little bit. Like it was just like a nice little entrance for those two, where if you had managers, the manager just kind of trailed and didn't do anything.
Not at all.
Like you need to be able to customize everything.
It would be great.
I'm not expecting that for necessarily your first game.
Eventually.
But I do want to be able to have a better entrance creator. Oh, by the way, if you want a good idea for an entrance creator, let me move the camera to where the fuck I want to have it when they come out. Like Day of Reckoning.
Why would that be a thing? Come on.
Like Day of Reckoning and Day of Reckoning 2. You can move your cameras anywhere you want and tell it when to cut. I actually think there was in Day of Reckoning 2, you could even, while the entrance is going on, you could hit a certain button and change to one of those cameras.
Ooh.
Live. I'm not sure on that for sure, but I do know you could adjust the camera, have it pull back. You could then it was one of the best for like camera motions. It was great. I want something like that I would like that in all wrestling games.
Well, yeah.
But AEW, you heard this. Hope your mics are turned on today.
I don't know. It might be.
The one thing we do have to talk about before we move on to results is the most disappointing thing in the announcement.
What?
And that was that they decided to scrap the beta version, the very first version.
Oh, that pre-alpha.
That pre-alpha version.
I was as soon as I saw that footage,
I was hooked.
I was blown away. I have never seen graphics like that in the past 20 years.
I have to agree with Ollie Davies of Wrestle Talk. He's like, I kind of liked it.
There was a certain specialness about that. Anyway, we got to get on to the results of Full Gear and Power Struggle, because otherwise we're about to run out of time.
Sure.
We have a half hour, buddy. All
right. Let's just scrap the results. No one pays attention to results.
Yeah, I do. Anyway.
You just care because you're the champ.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Winner has not yet been determined. We still need to count the winning and losing of matches here.
I want to recount on Full Gear.
We'll do it live right now.
Good.
Power Struggle is going to be the first one, though.
But don't worry. If it doesn't come out in my favor, I'm going to demand we stop the counting when I'm in the lead.
I don't know if it works that way. Anyway, Power Struggle. Luckily, our predictions, they once again put the card out there, and it's just like it's in order on Wikipedia.
because New Japan puts the card in order on their website, so people literally take it from there and put it on Wikipedia.
Exactly. So, first match is the No Corner Pads match for the provisional KOPW King of Pro Wrestling 2020 trophy, where Toru Yano defeated Zack Sabre Jr. by count out. I'm sorry. Zach, you lost to Toru Yano by count out. Dude. At the same time. Dude. Oh, yeah.
This is a joke. It's basically their comedy championship right now.
At the same time, like, you look at the people that he's, like, it's still kind of a valid thing.
It is. But they're doing it in a way that they would actually still. It's
entertaining.
Unlike WWE's comedy, which is not entertaining.
Nope. Because it's either slapstick or really, really.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. When you have Triple H and like Shawn Michaels, when they do slapstick.
Oh, sorry.
They just kind of they feed off the crowd.
Yeah.
And they just go with it. That's because they feed off that. They have a general idea. It works.
It's sophomoric, but it's tongue-in-cheek. They're like, no, we know we're acting like idiots.
Yeah. And when Vince wants comedy, he tells you how to act.
It's a midget getting beat up in the ring.
Yeah. So it actually works.
Or a midget.
So when I say it's a comedy, like championship
little person?
Right now,
is it little person these days?
Who knows?
I'm sorry.
But like if it's a comedy championship, but it's not like you're thinking from WWE.
Right.
It's not the 24/7 championship.
Yeah. So, next up, we have a singles match for the Never Openweight Championship, where Shingo Takagi defeats Minoru Suzuki.
Which we were wrong on.
We were wrong about that. We were correct about Toru Yano, though.
Yeah, because it was his first defense of the King of the Pro Wrestling. What was the point of him dropping it if you're going to put on it?
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if he eventually does, but your first one? No.
So, these guys... nearly 20 minutes.
Yeah,
bell to bell on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have a regular singles match where Kazuchika Okada defeats Great Okan by referee stoppage.
Yeah. I thought when I saw that, I was like, wow.
Now I'm going to check out the actual match.
And I got that one wrong, but
I got that one right.
I'm not surprised because, again, he just came back from, what's it called?
I don't know. Excursion.
Excursion. So it could have gone either way. I'm not surprised they went there because the more important thing was he called out Will Ospreay, and it's official. Those two are meeting at Wrestle Kingdom.
Fuck yes! I love the fact that like November is when New Japan just goes, yeah, we're setting the card for Wrestle Kingdom now. 2 months in advance.
Not the entire card, but just part of the card.
You know,
we're building.
Yeah,
we have several months.
You want to know about what's going, couple of the matches, they're going to set here.
We're going to tell you some of our bigger matches right off the bat.
Yeah, that way you have something to look forward to.
Yeah. Okay, next matchup.
So next match was a singles match for the IWGP United States Championship Challenge Rights Certificate.
Tired after that?
Yes. Where Kenta defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi by submission.
Called it.
And this is where we tied back up because I was calling for Tanahashi.
Yes.
Next up was the singles match for the Tokyo Dome IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships Challenge Rights Certificate.
How about you need that nap now after that one?
No, I'm a little lightheaded though. I need...
Wait, how many fingers am I holding up?
17. The one. Screw you, man. I just realized which one it was. Where Jay White defeats Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yes, we both chose Ibushi in this one.
Yeah, I was surprised on that one. I was a little disappointed. But I'm okay with it now because...
Yes.
Because as great as a champion Naito is, he says because Ibushi won the G1, he still should get a title shot. And since Wrestle Kingdom is a 2-night event again this year, for the second year in a row, since they were the first wrestling event to do that, you seem shocked by that.
I'm sorry. 2-night event?
Yeah, it's the second year in a row they've done this.
What?
In January.
No, I'm sorry. New England Wrestling Alliance is the first company to ever do a 2-night event, and they did it in July 4th and 5th, 2 years ago. Well, last year, actually. And it was called the Alpaca Bowl.
I know you're thinking it feels like a year ago has passed.
I know. It does feel like 7 years have gone by.
It's only been a few months.
What?
It's 2020. It's just a 2020 effect, man.
Has it really been? I could have sworn July 4th and 5th was 2 years ago.
No.
It feels like it, man. It's been so
It hasn't even been a year since Wrestle Kingdom 14, the first actual event to do 2-night.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Anyway, so what is going to happen is because New Japan has confirmed this.
Yes.
Night 1, Naito defends against Ibushi. Night 2, Jay White will take on the winner for the double championship.
Thank you for spoiling the main event of Power Struggle there.
No problem, because we already knew what was going to happen. Everyone knew.
In a singles match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, Tetsuya Naito has defeated Evil. He defeated Evil. We never have to worry about Evil ever again. G.I. Joe, you're all set. Every superhero in all of reality, you're all set.
Power Rangers, you can go back to being obnoxious teenage brats
because Evil has been defeated.
For those of you who are for Japan, our Japan listener, yes, I say listener, that would be Sentai.
Ah, okay.
But
also this adds to the Jay White Evil feud, if you will, the breakdown, if you will, because Jay White got a win here
and Evil got a loss.
And Evil lost.
Yes. So it will be interesting to see how the story continues on. But it was like, because after the match, Jay White called them out. Ibushi followed Jade White just depressed.
Now, actually, you know what would be really awesome here? Evil challenges Jay White to the certificate the first night.
Yeah.
Evil wins.
And then we get Ibushi versus Evil. That would be kind of fun. But I think Wrestle Kingdom this year is going to be a really good.
Oh event. Yeah, I love the fact that there's storyline that has repercussions for both nights.
Yeah. Unlike WWE's WrestleMania,
which
the
really
second ever wrestling company to have a 2-night event.
I'm sorry, what is these 2-night events? Actually, WrestleMania did not actually have a 2-night event. They put on a television show that was put on 2 different nights. In reality, all of that was done, I believe, in one day.
Nope, it was done over 2 days.
Wasn't it like 5 days?
Yeah.
7? It was a week they put those matches together because, people had to come and go.
They were doing it. They had a special week where they were recording, but they did most of WrestleMania. The ones that had multiple days, like stuff for it, was the cinematic matches that they were doing.
Yeah,
I mean, they did all the recording and literally for one day for most of them, but like there was stuff that, like planning, getting the final stuff set up. They had to. I think it was mostly.
It was pre-taped. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Doesn't count as a 2-night event.
Yes, it does.
Nope.
Yes.
It's a 2-night television event. It's not a 2-night wrestling event.
It still counts.
Sports entertainment. It's not real.
It still counts. Anyway.
Is it still real to you, damn it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's not
I'm so sorry.
It's not real to you?
No.
You are not a true pro wrestling fan.
Yes, I am.
No. Only true pro wrestling fans will admit that it's real.
It's not real. Anyway, so at the end of
Suzuki
this,
doesn't really hit you.
At the end of this power struggle, we were tied 3-3. That is the count, sir.
I demand a recount.
Let me go ahead and count up how many we got correct. How many you got correct? 1, 2, 3. Which is actually kind of sad.
Stop counting there. I win.
I have a number here that is higher than 2 for myself, but lower than 4, which would mean that it's 3.
I said stop counting.
No, it doesn't. You don't get to just do that.
I have a court order that says you stop counting after not counting mine.
You know what? I just tweeted that I'm the winner. So no matter what. So there. Just remember, I tweeted it.
I won.
It's official.
Did you win by a lot?
A huge amount. Any match that you got correct did not happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did.
The funny part is that would mean that I actually just straight up won because we tied up on 2 out of 3 of your matches. So I only got 1 right, but that's all you need. Inch or a mile, bro. Anyway, let's move on to Full Gear, where we've got 8 home matches that we called. There is 9 that officially happened.
Because we did not have the new buy-in matchup.
No, which was a singles match for the NWA World Women's Championship.
Which we saw Thunder Rosa return afterwards to challenge Serena Deeb, who retained her championship.
Yes.
For that, which is great to see Thunder Rosa back. I really do hope this NWA partnership really works out.
I wouldn't mind seeing NWA be kind of the feeder organization, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the next crossover, if it's not Aldis and Cody, what the fuck you doing?
No, you know what? It should be like Scott Steiner.
No.
And Brian Cage.
No, I don't want Scott Steiner anywhere near AEW.
Oh yeah, totally. And he cuts a live performance.
Unless it's a Steiner Brothers reunion.
Nope. Oh my, nope. No, Steiner Brothers versus FTR.
Exactly.
But Scott has to cut a promo that's just straight up live in the ring, no script.
No. I want, when he cuts a promo, he has to cut Scott Steiner from 2006, the Steiner Brothers, not what he becomes and has been for.
Oh no! I want him today to be cutting that Big Papa Pump level promo where he is screaming at the microphone and his math is nowhere correct.
Just so you know, in 1996, he was still screaming in the microphone.
Well, I mean, it's what he does.
As the Steiner Brothers.
He screams a lot. All right, let's get into the official card. So.
Oh, and by the way, we were wrong on what opened the show. Thank God.
Yeah.
Though I kind of wish this matchup did go a little bit later, but what we got out of this match is probably a good thing that it went first.
Yeah. So, the opening match of the card official is the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final Match, where the winner receives a future AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega defeated Hangman Adam Page.
Okay, so first off, I just want to say...
Fuck Hangman. Fuck Hangman.
I just want to say, AEW, brilliant naming of your tournament. Who knew an idea in a tournament was to eliminate people? No clue.
What?
Never knew that.
That's the point?
Yeah, I never knew that. It like blows my mind. Great name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that opened the show, which was a surprise to everyone. They had Don Callis, the vice president over at Impact Wrestling.
Is there a connection going to happen there as well?
He was also in part of the video package for this thing.
Yes.
Last week, not video package, but he was on there last week to hype this up.
Mm-hmm.
He's friends with Kenny Omega. He was on commentary for this matchup, which was great. Interesting to see if maybe a partnership could be blooming there.
My alliance is starting to actually show some seeds here.
I'm about to feed more into that.
Oh, please do, sir.
Apparently, there's some rumors going on. The relationship between Impact and New Japan seems to be getting very close.
Yes.
No idea what that means for Ring of Honor, but apparently there's been rumors going on that Impact and New Japan have kind of.
So they've had this.
Love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship for quite some time.
Part of it was because of how they treated
Okada.
And
During his excursion, though.
And Naito was there, too.
Yeah. Both of them during their excursion. Moving up from a young lion.
It was mostly Okada, though.
Oh, yeah. The fact that he was Kato.
Yeah.
They had him be the Green Hornet, basically.
Not in the beginning. When they first showed up, they actually was Naito and Okada.
Yes.
It was when a certain writer, who we all know who thinks he's a brilliant story of all his ideas,
Vince Russo. Jim Cornette.
How'd you know?
It was a guess. I shot an arrow in the dark.
And so that's one of the things. It's one of the reasons why when New Japan lost their contract with what's their the channel
yeah, I don't know.
I can't think of the name at the top of my head right now. Where New Japan was airing their stuff on, because they said we want a partnership. We want to do like you have with Ring of Honor. New Japan said no. It's like, okay, you don't want to do that? We're not going to keep you on our station. So there's a little bit of bitterness there. I mean, a little bit of but apparently something has changed.
Yeah. I mean, getting rid of a Dutchman who seemed to piss off the entire locker room.
Yep. CEO who's now gone. Only time will tell, but that will be interesting to see if that happens. But yeah, so that was all on there. I was a little disappointed with this matchup.
Oh my God, why were you disappointed?
It was a great matchup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was a bad matchup. After the match was over, I was left wanting some more. And I don't mean more like I want another match. I was like, oh, this was great. I can't wait for the next time we get this matchup.
No, you wanted more right then and there.
I wanted more out of this matchup. I bet the best way to sum it up was from Wrestle Talk is these two didn't go all out with each other.
Okay.
Which storyline wise makes sense, because if you want to build to are going to be building to a Kenny Omega Hangman Page for the world title, you can save that blood feud level, action packed.
I'm sorry, did you say blood feud?
Yes, I did.
Are we talking about Blood Feud 5?
Not your stupid wrestling.
January 2021?
No.
New year, new blood?
When have I ever talked about your stupid wrestling organization that doesn't actually exist?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The stupid organization that did not have the first ever two-night wrestling event.
I'm sorry. You are talking... You're talking bollocks over there, sir. Anyway, absolute bollocks.
Anyway, so but it was still a very good matchup. The story was very clear. It was these two know each other.
Yeah.
The finish came with Hangman going for the buckshot lariat. By the way, can I just say this? The fact that how close Hangman came to a buckshot lariat and Kenny ducked it was I thought it was a connection and he was going to kick out of it. But Kenny ducks it at the very last. Basically, think of it this way. Remember when Okada went for the
Kenny is just really good at ducking.
No. When Okada went for the Rainmaker and Kenny just kind of fell.
Yeah.
The timing, it was like that kind of timing, but it was Kenny actively dodging. Like, the arm's coming, and it's like the last second before he could possibly move enough without getting hit in some way, he ducks.
Unlike the WWE, where you're diving under it before the guy fully has their arm extended.
Oh, we're talking about before the WWE, the guy even has come back around off the ropes.
They're already ducking under.
They're ducking like,
I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Are you ducking under their legs at this point? No, you're ducking under a lariat that hasn't even started yet.
Okay.
You have this guy scouted.
Yes.
All right.
But how close he turns it into the V trigger, hits the One Wing Angel, only after Page struggled to stop Kenny from grabbing his head. But because of that, he leaned a little too close, where Kenny could then grab his head and immediately hit the One Wing Angel for the win.
Yeah.
So it's a great there. I wish there was more from this, but it was still a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's not going to be at Revolution that we'll see the second one.
No,
it will probably be All Out.
That's what I'm saying.
All Out 3. Because Double or Nothing will be the time that Page starts his
comeback.
Not necessarily comeback. He will be at his most desperate going into.
It's no. I wouldn't say he's at his lowest, but he's looking to start the major crawling out.
Oh yeah, but he's not. He hasn't hit the.
No, he's hit his bottom, but he's looking. He's on. It's a journey back to the top.
What I mean by desperate is the Shawn Michaels trying to get the shot at Undertaker.
Yeah.
That first one, or the second one.
Yeah.
Where he, he's trying to get a WrestleMania match. And he loses at Royal Rumble. In Royal Rumble, he was going into that desperate. He needed the win there to make sure he could go to WrestleMania one more time. Then it was, fine, I'll challenge The Undertaker.
Again.
I have to challenge The Undertaker because he's the only one. If he takes my match, anybody else try to have a match with him, I'm taking them out. Yeah. Like that'll be the start of like Page will be given at Double or Nothing, storyline wise would be great. At Double or Nothing, a chance at the number 1 title at All Out.
Yeah,
loses.
And then it can't be for the at All Out then, because whoever wins that would then get that title shot.
Hold on. I haven't got there yet. His desperation gets to the point where he's going to take Kenny out of the match, so Kenny has to drop the belt because of injury, or he's going to take the other guy out of the match. And the other guy eventually allows him a chance at that number 1 contender shot.
No, I don't like that.
Kenny drops the belt.
He has to go into Double or Nothing, where that's the start of his rise to the top. He walks out of Double or Nothing with a major win.
Yeah, but against who?
I don't know. I'm not going that far.
Cody.
When I get to that point in my booking for fantasy booking, because that's basically the story I'm kind of telling.
Oh yeah.
Because I know
when are you going to do it?
When I figure out the rest.
Because this is another week. You skipped 2 weeks, put out 1 episode, and then went, I need some more time off.
I need time off because I got to figure out where I'm going because the stupid Ring of Honor purchase fucked up my plans.
You purchased Ring of Honor over a month ago in real time.
Yes, but I didn't use anything from there.
You don't need to.
Well, I didn't use anything from there because I had my plans for All Out already set. Now I don't. I already have some things set.
Just go you this week. You next week.
No, I gotta start planning. Also, I haven't been using the Dark Order, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna use them. So I got lots of stuff to figure out.
They're the ones defending AEW against the Ring of Honor invasion.
Don't worry. Fantasy booking will be coming back. But anyway,
we're only done with the first episode, and we have 6 minutes left to go.
You mean the first match?
The first match. We have 6 minutes left to go because you won't.
Hey, you're the one who keeps wanting to book things. So, what's the next matchup?
Orange Cassidy versus John Silver in a singles match. And Orange Cassidy won. John Silver needed to be cheered up afterwards.
It was a good matchup. John Silver, to stop Orange Cassidy from putting his hands in his pockets, ripped the pockets off.
The man went crazy. John Silver was asking for a death wish. He's just lucky he only got, pinned.
Yes. So it was a fun little match. It was a good spot to put right after that one for sure.
Yeah.
But the next matchup on there was
Darby Allin defeating Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, okay, so first off...
It's official. He's Cody Rhodes.
So what...
So does that mean that he can challenge for the AEW World Championship?
Because Cody...
Because Cody can't.
I would love to see that loophole. It's like, Cody said that, not Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is being booked in this match.
It's like, that's you. It's like, no, Cody was different.
Yeah, Cody's a different character.
But you were literally doing the exact same stuff. But I'm Cody Rhodes.
But yeah, I'm Cody Rhodes. That guy is Cody. But aren't
same.
you that guy? No. Nope.
Anyway, the intros. First off, Mike Chioda was the referee for this, and when they announced it, they made a big deal like that. And there was a
that just reminded me, Mike Chioda.
There was a Chioda chant, and Cody stopped him for a second so he would hear it. It was faint enough.
Yeah.
But that was cool. And then but when he says it was like we got to Darby Allin. It's like Cody Rhodes. And it was like Cody Rhodes. It was like, and by the way, Cody, you fooled no one by going on social media saying you weren't going to use your real name because you've gotten so used to being the Nightmare Cody. You didn't fool anyone.
No, we know it was being called.
Yeah. But it was a good matchup. The finish was a little weird. It was a combination of roll-ups, where Darby managed to hold him on. So it was a good finish when you think about it, because it's a start.
Also, this is the fourth match for them, and Darby finally got the win.
Yeah, because we have 2 losses to Cody, 1 draw, and now a win.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good starting point because this time he rolled him up. The next time he beats him, he actually pins him with his finisher.
Yeah.
You can do. That's what I would
Darby,
do.
you need something slightly better than the coffin drop.
Yeah. Or you need to bulk up a little bit more, make it a little bit more effective.
Yeah.
Because he did hit the coffin drop, but Cody
It's a trust fall.
I know.
Honestly.
So after this one, everyone was wondering if Cody was going to turn on him, make a heel. But he took the belt, and he kneeled and handed it to Allin. Then Taz came out, distracted them while Ricky Starks and Brian Cage came out and beat them up. And when they were going to try to break Darby's arm in his car because he came out in a car that was in his promo, then Will Hobbs came out and chased after them with a chair. Though he hit no one with a chair, so the people are saying he's really with Team Taz because he wasn't trying to actually hit. He didn't hit them. He just had the chair. But it was a good matchup, and yes, they've pulled the trigger on Darby Allin. Thank God.
Next up was a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship, where Hikaru Shida defeated Nyla Rose.
Thank God. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm very glad that Vicky did not need to speak to somebody's manager.
Thank God, because that was the only matchup on this card. I was like, this is going to ruin the entire show for me.
I have a feeling I would like to see them continue to build Shida, keep the belt on her.
Yeah.
And if they want Britt Baker to be their face of this thing,
no.
Shida drops it to Baker.
I honestly think Britt Baker is going to be the one who takes the belt off.
Well, yeah, but we also need to build up Baker a little bit more.
Well, because she needs more time in the ring now that she's back from her injury, which I think they are going to do. But here's the thing, though. She's not the face of the company as a baby face.
No.
She's the face of the company as their top heel.
Exactly.
Because she works so much better as a heel. But yes, it was a good matchup overall in many ways.
And a fashion icon.
Yes.
And a dentist.
So, but it was but I was just like, I swear to God, I didn't think they was because I kind of caught Shida's Twitter.
Yeah.
Right before I started watching it, I went to Twitter and she had a post, and I didn't see anything about her not holding the belt because it was a quick glimpse. So, but it was enough where I got away from it. So, spoilers. But I still was a little worried at times. But I was happy they went with the right direction here.
All right.
Anyway, next matchup.
Next is the tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Had the Young Bucks lost, if the Young Bucks lose, no, had they lost, they would have never challenged for the AEW World Tag Team Championship again.
Wait, what are you saying? They didn't lose?
And Tully Blanchard was barred from ringside.
For an unknown reason.
I would have loved for him to lose and then immediately next week change the name to the AEW Tag Team Championship of the World. They're like, oh no, we're challenging a different belt. But yes, really it came across that the Young Bucks won because FTR decided to do a flip.
Violate their no flips, just fists motto. So first off, I wish I had a little bit more time to talk about this one.
Yeah.
So I gotta speed through this. But the matchup is literally ideologies of tag team wrestling. It's literally what inspired FTR, the 80s.
Yes.
Versus the Young Bucks, 90s, 2000s wrestling. Each hitting their own fish. They even had callback spots to previous matches. Like they had a double submission where the FTR were in both sharpshooters. Dax was on the outside, I believe, and Hardwood was in the ring.
Yep.
And they were like reaching out to each other.
So kind of like the DIY?
Yes, exactly. Only it didn't end with them both tapping out.
Right.
Though Dax did tap out outside.
Well, yeah, but it was outside, so it doesn't count.
And he wasn't the legal man, so it didn't matter. Also to the point where they actually have FTR hit the DIY's finisher. They did the whole Hardwood tags in Dash. Dax tags in Cash, and he immediately jumps over because Dax was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, and it's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, and they run into the super kick knee combo.
Nice.
Like there was a lot of callbacks. Okay, let me put it this way: what we got out of here, the intensity and what we got in the storytelling here, as well as looking for in the Kenny and Hangman matchup.
Okay.
But tied in with their story.
The weirdest part is we got a great match out of the tag team.
Yeah.
With little to no the disappointment in the build.
Yes.
But then a great homage in the match itself.
I never questioned the match being good.
All right, time to move on to the next match.
The build just wasn't ideal.
Next up, Matt Hardy defeats Sammy Guevara.
No one cares.
Nope. Moving on to the next match, singles match, since MJF defeated Chris Jericho and now is allowed to join the inner circle. Circle. With
in the inner square.
Yes, the inner square. With Wardlow.
So
the trapezoid of trouble.
So the one thing I do have to comment here, it's how MJF defeated Jericho. He beat Jericho at his own game.
What?
Because Wardlow was not at ringside. He called him down to get the ring. So when Jericho saw MJF was gonna cheat, he called to someone in the crowd. So Hager came over, handed him the bat, and Wardlow was distracting Aubrey Edwards,
the ref.
And he's just like this, like Jericho's like this, like MJF's like flips him off and drops down, which Aubrey turns around and thinks pulling an Eddie. And he's like Jericho's like no, I didn't, like, and then Jericho turns because he's trying to no, I didn't do it, and then he rolls him up. So it was really great little storytelling.
That's awesome.
Hit Jericho at his own game.
He out-healed the heel.
Yes. So, by the way, Jericho and Aubrey needs to be hit in every one of his matchups going forward.
Yeah.
The two just had this bicker. Like Jericho said, it was a 3, and it was a 2. I hate you. It was like, you're a terrible ref. Shut up. It's just like
that goes back to the Stampede Stadium match.
It's like the 2, like that was a 3. You what? Like, I want a replay. I want a rewatch.
They hit the replay. Right. 1, 2. Yeah, it was a 2.
It's like
10-yard penalty.
It's like in there. It's like, these two just worked so well together. I demand it. And then we have the death match.
The I Quit match for the AEW World Championship, where Jon Moxley defeated Eddie Kingston.
And Kingston said, if you want to beat me, you have to kill me. And he
practically tried to.
The story here for the I Quit matches was, instead of asking in a move or after a move by the ref, the story was in this one was, which was actually a great way to do it, was threats. If you don't quit, I'm going to do this.
Which I kind of feel that an I Quit match should be about.
Not all I Quit matches should be like that, but a lot, you could do spots and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But like this one was really good because it just like, I don't want to do this, but I will if you do not quit.
It leads into Moxley's character since coming over that he's going to bring a new level of violence to AEW. But it's only because that's what he has to do.
So
that's what they're asking of him. And he's just like, Kenny asked me to go too far, so I took him that far. I'm walking out the other side.
Yeah.
You know, Eddie Kingston wanted to quit and wanted to have a I Quit match, so I made him quit.
Well, they both agreed to the I Quit match.
Well, yes, but
yeah. But I will say this: there was another brutal spot here. It was not what we probably. It wasn't probably what they played it off as. But so to get Moxley to quit after the tax spot, the typical dump someone on a tax, and all that. Kingston decided to go to the medical spot and pull out some alcohol. And
poured it all over his back. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was probably just water. But even if it was water, Moxley sold it.
Oh, it probably was real alcohol.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had real alcohol. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just water. But Moxley sold it regardless. And it was just like, even if it was water, it doesn't matter what was in there because the cell was all that mattered. And oh my God, I was like,
Yeah. You put on like the weirdest faces for a show that is only audio.
See,
we've been doing this for so long and you still do the same thing.
Our listeners know exactly what I'm doing.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
They're just suddenly like, what is that?
They know exactly what faces I'm making.
Anyway, it's time for us to close up this episode.
So the count was that I won. I am the champion.
No. According to Full Gear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 6 correct.
Okay.
Well, that did happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for me. So I am the champion. There is no need for a recount. I have tweeted it out.
You need to.
The champion is here.
You were told to stop counting once I had the lead.
I'm really sorry.
Once my votes were counted, you were supposed to stop counting.
Sorry, you actually at no point had a lead on this card.
Well, you just counted mine, and I had 7. I had 6 right. That's when you're supposed to stop counting. There's no point. I won. I am the champion.
No, you're not. Nope. Anyway.
Well, you're going to lose it to Survivor Series next week's predictions.
Yeah, probably. Who knows?
If we do WWE.
Of course.
But yes, ladies and gentlemen, you've reached the end of this awfully long, rambling, no rabbit holes podcast episode of As the Buckle Turns.
Everything was direct and straightforward. We never side quested at all. We were stuck to the main story.
Never lost track.
Not at all.
And never blew a joke. I'm still disappointed in you. So disappointed in you.
Seriously, you blow punchlines more than a hooker at a cowboy festival.
Because I'm purposely trying to ruin your joke.
It's not my joke, man. It's not my joke.
Yes, it is. Anyway, you've reached the end. Hit that thumbs up. You know you're liking what we're talking about. You're getting out of this podcast. So help out the channel. Give it a thumbs up.
Yes. Thank you.
And let us know down in the comment section what you thought of Full Gear. Not All Out. That was months ago. Let us know what you thought of Full Gear. If you watched Power Struggle, let us know what you thought of that show. Because I haven't watched it yet. I probably won't watch it. But still, let us know down in the comment section. And let us know who should be the person who takes the AEW Women's Championship off of Hikaru Shida.
Yeah.
Down there. But also right there, since it's right next to that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button.
Ding!
Ring that bell.
Ding, ding!
And make sure you hit all notifications so you know when all As the Buckle Turns and other Zop content go live. I would say fantasy booking, but who knows when that's fucking coming back. Not me right now. And Adam, you know what?
Obligatory get bent joke here.